decide to do a quick intro first and then we'll do it. Hello, welcome to 646. My name is Dawson McManus, and we have Brandon Ross in the studio from Hearts and Scars. Is it fashion Hearts and Scars apparel? It's like horror and rock.
Horror rock clothing, yeah.
Horror rock clothing, okay.
Yeah, something a little edgy, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's very cool, and I am rocking quite a bit of the swag today. Thank you so much for this stuff, man. I really appreciate it. This is actually, not only does it look, I'm not used to the brim. Not only does it look good, but it's super comfy.
Thanks,
this is a nice shirt.
Yeah, go for a soft style, something that's not too rough, you know, like nice and comfortable. You can wear it anytime, whether winter or summer. Just want something nice, light, breathable, you know.
This is some stage shit. That's what this is.
Damn right.
This will go into rotation for some of the heavier stuff that I play.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm checking that out.
Yeah, cool. Actually, I have a whole ton of stuff. I can't tell how well that's recording. Give me just like 10 seconds. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. It's all good, man.
Just want to make sure. Say something. Oh yeah, I can see the levels. Cool.
We're all good, man.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've already done the intro, so that's not getting cut. So we're just going.
Flying by the edge of your seat,
man.
man.
Oh, man. Story of my life. So when did you start doing the clothing stuff? Because I know, let's give everybody some background. You're a vocalist, you're a visual artist, and now you're a clothier, which is pretty cool.
A little bit of everything, yeah. Getting into graphics, considering doing voiceovers even.
Nice.
Yeah. Just with a full-time job and everything on the side, and a family, it's hard to like manage my time, so I got to do a little bit at a time, but
yeah.
I'm definitely hoping to get into that. I just got to get a reel together, that's all.
Just start doing it. You know, like I assume you've got some home recording equipment, right?
I do. Just in storage, got to get it out.
Right.
I'm probably going to build a vocal booth at some point so I can.
Nice. Do you see those shields? That shield that have the big black one there?
Yeah.
Those things are awesome. That was maybe $300 at Long McQuaid.
Okay.
And it isolates a ton of sound. And depending on what kind of mic you're using, if it's a wide diaphragm, when it bounces off the backside of the shield, it does absorb quite a bit, but it'll also reflect some of your voice or wind instrument or whatever back into the opposite side. So you get this really cool blend of sound. And I don't know, I think they're great. And it cuts out, I mean, it's not going to cut out everything, but it does cut out a lot of other stuff coming through. So
I mean, it's pretty small.
Yeah.
Cost is good, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try it out.
Yeah, and then these panels on the walls, just foam, hung them up. I put some foam core on the back and then poster stickies.
Okay, yeah.
And I don't know, I got a couple hundred of them on Amazon for, I don't know,
Amazon, the solution to everything now, eh?
Yeah. Well, my wife got a handful of them for me for our anniversary, I don't know how long ago, so.
Nice.
Yeah, so I actually don't know what they cost. I was about to say they were cheap, but I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass, but that's what I do 99% of the time anyway.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. That's very cool. So I'm just curious, what started first? Were you a musician first or a visual artist first? Or
well, I guess I was a visual artist first. I mean, I've been drawing since I was 3 years old, according to past drawings my parents have shown me and whatnot. But as far as I know, I've always put pen to paper. And I probably started music. I got into music. My buddy actually showed me Marilyn Manson, his first album, Portrait of American Family, probably in grade 8, I guess it was.
Nice.
And I'd never listened to really anything before. And I don't know, it was so completely different and wild and extreme. And it's like, it brought me to this whole new world. And like, I was obsessed. Like it stopped, started again. I just want to hear more. And then I started branching out into like, obviously the whole grunge movement, like Silverchair, Nirvana, all that kind of stuff. And then, Nirvana, that opened up doors and I started playing guitar and probably joined my first band. I lived in Aurora, so I was probably around 16 years old.
Right.
And we started this band called Bliss. I guess it was kind of ripped off from a Nirvana thing. I was a little. So it was actually cool. It was me and this guy, and I think I met him through a friend in school, and he used to have a setup like this in his basement, and it was just me and him for a while, and he would play drums and I would play guitar and sing. Every time I'd play guitar and sing, we'd cover Nirvana songs or Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
And then we'd swap out. I'd play drums and he'd play guitar and sing.
Oh, nice.
And
I
we'd
didn't know
do
you played
stuff like
drums.
Radiohead and yeah. I hit things.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So then we ended up playing a show that fizzled off because I moved back to Mississauga.
Right.
And then I was actually working at a coffee time. That was shady. And I noticed there was an ad on the door. And they were looking for a vocalist. I was like, well, I'm broke as hell. Like, I can't afford a guitar. And if I can, I'm not good enough to play in a band right now. So, give it a shot. It said all the influences that I liked, like Marilyn Manson, Nirvana, Deftones, Mudvayne,
Nice.
Disturbed, like everything I was into, Finger 11. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And they had me out. And, well, you remember Steve. Yeah.
I was going to ask if that was Steve.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that was his band. It was called 22 Ounce Kilo. I know it doesn't add up. But they had me out, and my audition was an a cappella for a Stain song, Mud Shovel.
Oh, wow.
They're like, yep, just go for it. I'm like, I've never sang in front of anybody before. I barely even knew the song, really. They let me listen to it first. And yeah, I did it, and they were like, "You're fucking in, man."
Cool.
Like, yeah, we went from there, and there was actually another singer in the band at the time, and it was right around the Linkin Park time.
Oh, yeah.
So he was a rapper, I was a screamer, and it's kind of history from there. Like from there, we just started entering competitions and just started taking off.
So when did you guys do the big name change and switch over to?
Oh, that was a whole debacle.
Okay.
So,
Sorry.
Fast forward like a couple years, we did some shows, Emergenza, all that stuff, and then I actually got fired for reasons I'm not entirely too sure of at this point, honestly.
Oh. Okay.
But then I actually went on to join a couple of other bands. Actually, I tried out for like a metal band. I screamed for a while. I think I did it for maybe a month or two. Wasn't my jam. I joined like a punk pop. Yeah, it was called 88. They were actually really good, really good. We only ended up playing one show. It kind of fizzled out, unfortunately. But then after that, I got tired of joining bands. I didn't feel like it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't gel properly. Like, if you could work with people, that's fine. Fans? Here? Now? You could always jam with people and play with people, and it could work, but it's not 100% there. When there's a click,
oh yeah,
you know that you can feel that, right?
Big time.
So I ended up leaving that group, and I basically called up Steve. I was like, you know what? Like I just want to put together a project that I know I want to do. I want to play exactly what my vision is, and I just want to get musicians in and have them play.
Yeah.
He's like, that's cool, man. Like, I'll be your guitarist. We write well together. And that's when we started A Match for the Curious. And he knew guys, I knew guys. We just brought them in. And I guess essentially at first it was supposed to be almost like studio musicians.
Yeah, sure.
You know? And they were okay with that. But then it just started progressing into contributions, and like, you know what, like, I just like everything you're doing, so let's just write. I'm not going to take the helm anymore. Like I felt like I was kind of the head producer, like arrangement wise, probably me and Steve, but by the end of it, like we were all in on it together, and that was the best band I probably ever been in.
Nice.
Like, it clicked, but then we started losing members, and then new members were coming in. It's like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Something missing, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, we did a lot with that band, man. We went to Germany. We won studio time, you name it. Like we crushed competitions. We ended up having some interest from Sony, Roadrunner. It never ended up progressing into anything, but
yeah, it was just too bad too, because you guys had some really cool singles, like Solid Ground. I still remember that track.
Thanks, man.
I did learn how to play it, so that
you
helps.
were in the band for a little bit.
Yeah. So some background context. You actually intended to message somebody else originally, I believe,
really?
And you ended up sending the message to me, and the guy that,
like, by accident.
So it was through our mutual friend Bob.
Right.
That you contacted me, but I guess because I was in Hamilton at the time, and there was another dude. I'm not going to say who it was because it doesn't matter. But there was another dude that is a bass player that lived in Toronto at the time. Mm-hmm. That I guess Bob had said, "Hey, this is my buddy. That's a bass player. He lives in Toronto. Call him." And the dude, after you guys were like, "Yeah, man, you got the gig," then he messaged me and was like, "Motherfucker, you stole my gig."
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it was funny because I guess, I don't know, maybe you just saw somebody on Bob's friends list that had a bass in his hands, and you're like, "Oh, that must be the guy." Or so I don't know how the wires.
You got to remember, this is 15 years ago.
Yes, I know. So I have a weird memory for goofy shit.
Yeah.
Like, but apparently,
wow, that's cool.
Apparently, our meeting, I guess, was basically an accident, which is kind of crazy. Because then
I call it fate.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Call it fate. Call it karma. Sorry.
Whatever you will. Yes.
Ghostbusters deep cut.
That's right.
Yeah. So anyway, and that was super fun because I was so, at the time, just up to my eyebrows in jazz because I was in school.
That's right.
And to play something that was like, this isn't drop D, and we are just gonna play like really chromatic, kind of
straightforward, like,
yeah, it's 4/4. It's, I was like, fuck yes. And they're screaming in it. I was just like, oh, yay. And like heavily distorted guitars, obviously, and just all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is a really nice departure from everything that I am, I guess not doing compulsory, but kind of, because it's for a grade, and I'm paying thousands and thousands of dollars to be here. So it was so cathartic to just be like, this is the kind of shit that I started with, essentially, or in the vein anyway, because I started with, Sabbath and Zeppelin and all, obviously all the same kind of grunge things that you were starting with. And I was like, okay, this is why I got into music in the first place, and it's nice to be back here, because there is an unfortunate side effect that hits a lot of people that go to school for jazz, is the nose starts lifting a little higher and higher and higher.
Yes, quite.
And if it isn't jazz, then it must be garbage. And I could feel myself, no, I'm being too generous.
Brought you back down, did I?
It was pointed out to me by our friend Bob that I was turning into a jazz snob. And so it was really helpful, yes, to get re-anchored into, no, music is good regardless of genre. If it's done well, that's really all it needs. So,
Bob, I miss you.
Yeah. It's funny, he lives just like around the corner.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
We could go knock on his door when this is done.
No kidding.
Yeah, we could.
Sunday afternoon antics?
Possibly.
I like it.
We could go fuck around. If he's, I don't know what he's doing right now, but we could go wake him up if he's asleep.
Yeah, I dig it. But that type of music, though, like, there's all sorts of music that I can gel with, and I really like. Mm-hmm. Like, I was just listening to the Beatles on the way over here.
Hell yeah! What album? Or just assorted?
It was the re-release, like I forget what it's called. It's a red album with the one on it.
Oh yeah,
What's the title?
That's like a greatest. It's Beatles
just a greatest
one.
hits. Yeah,
it's a compilation. Yeah,
but like front to back, like I'll just
banger after banger, man.
Oh, they're so good, man.
Yeah.
But like it's such such a change, such a switch from like what I do personally, right?
Sure.
But like the hard rock, like it's just, you can get out so much, like especially as a singer too, right? Like you having that bad day, just belt it out, like just give it your all, and like you just feel so good, like so much weight off your shoulders, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. I think it's important to talk about the catharsis of music.
Yeah. So you joined the band a little after that. I forget what happened with that. I think you moved out here, so it couldn't work.
Yeah. I got married.
That too. Yes. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
So I think, we ended up getting a new drummer, like a whole new lineup, and I think it fizzled out probably around 2012. I think it was either 2012 or 2013, like February, we played our last show. And I was out of it for like 4 years or so. That's when I started the Hearts and Scars thing. I started diving into that, experimenting with that. But then, I don't know, man. It's like every year I get pulled in by somebody like, come on, man, you gotta revisit this. You gotta do your thing again. Like you're so good at it. Like you gotta get back into it and do it again. It's like, okay, I've got to do it. So I ended up joining a band called Seasons Fall, which was
that's right.
Which was almost all of AMFDC except for the drummer George. I think they were in a band called To the Wolves before.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's a good name.
It was a good name, and they were really good too. And so that project fizzled out. So then they acquired me, and we started playing again. It was kind of like looking around. I was like, kind of back in it. Like it's cool. So we did that for, I think it was like 3 years, 4 years. No, 3 years or so, something like that. And we ended up writing a bunch of good tunes. Never played any shows, unfortunately, but we got some stuff recorded. Only got 4 bangers recorded. But I think we got like 25, 30 songs, good tunes out of it, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We're kind of in the process of revisiting that and recording slowly.
Nice.
I'm doing some guest vocals on a band that I'm good friends with called Zig 7.
That's a cool name too.
Yeah. So they just had me out to do vocals on their one track called Lip Service.
Oh, nice. Fucking good names, man. These are good names.
Yeah. So that band. So my old drummer George, he's in that band, and they're killing it, man. Like they're playing shows and releasing all these. I'll send you the link and everything when
please.
it's done. Zig 7. Like every song they come out with is just smashing, man.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
So good. You got to come out to a show. Next time they're playing a show, I'm going to bring you out.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I was more than thrilled to be invited to track on one of their songs. I'm like stoked. I actually got to go back and record like a little change in the second verse, but other than that, I think she's done.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
Nice.
And again, powerhouse. I'm screaming.
It
feels good, man.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, that one thing that I sent you, I don't want to say a whole lot about it, really, because some things, like I was saying earlier, some stuff has changed with how all that's going to proceed. Mm-hmm. But even just the voice memo of the hook, actually, there are more spots that I want you to do some more stuff on.
Fine.
If that's
I was out of practice when I sent you that too. I've been practicing since then, so I'm like.
Well, you'll have time because, like I said, everything that I was doing here has now basically switched over to being a demo as opposed to what was initially intended as bed tracks, because the whole, I mean, it's a good thing and sort of in a way frustrating, but everything is getting re-recorded elsewhere. So I don't want.
I understand that frustration, but man,
but at the same time, it's just going to be so much better.
Oh, you can't. Nothing's better than that.
Yeah.
When you see, it's the same kind of thing like with the Seasons Fall that I just mentioned. So I'm not that good of an engineer, and we recorded it in our jam space, and I think I used like a broken mic and like whatever we could find, and the drums sounded, you could hear it, but it wasn't good, man.
Sure.
Like, you can
the clarity wasn't there.
Yeah. So when we re-recorded it now, it's like, holy crap, like sounds so much better.
Yeah.
You know, like you can hear those kick drums, you can hear the cymbals properly without it being all tinny and
Yeah.
oh man, it's so much. Even the vocals, man. Like I don't even know what he did with the vocals, man. It sounded way better.
Nice.
Sounds so full, bassy, and yeah, I'm gonna let you hear it.
Sweet. I can't wait. Yeah. Well, I mean, she did like a good microphone will really change a lot. You know? And then also how stuff's EQ'd, how the compression is done, any kind of like depends on. You know, it depends on all kinds. There's a lot of factors.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of factors, but people that really know how to EQ carve and acquire space within a track can
it's magical, man.
It is. Yeah. It is. It feels magical. It's very scientific, actually, but it feels like magic when you hear it. You're like, what? You're a wizard.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny you say that because that band I just mentioned, Zig 7, the guitarist Dave, he does the engineering for the band, and he'll go through and like break down songs and like, oh, like this is what I put under here and under here. It's like I had never thought like that's underneath the whole song, like that little like synth or something. It was like, yeah, like he's like, okay, yeah, listen to it without. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I would never have even thought to put that underneath, but like all these little tricks and secrets and stuff that he puts in, and it just makes the song huge, man.
Yeah. Yeah. There are so many cool ways to fatten up a track, or even just add a friends of mine and I, we call it the glue.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, so maybe there's like really quietly under everything, there's an organ.
Yeah.
You don't know it's there until you take it away, and then you just immediately feel like something's missing.
Yeah.
And just little tricks like that, they add such a massive difference to a mix, and it's really cool. And a friend of mine, actually, I was just in Toronto a couple weeks ago doing an episode, actually, for the guest was Ilana Hart, who's a good friend of mine. She's a killer musician, and she's also a monster engineer.
Really?
And she works for the Danforth Creative Commons.
Okay.
And she's the lead engineer there, and she's also a songwriter, and she's total boss. She's fucking awesome. Yeah. You got to meet this lady. She's super dope. You'll meet her.
Okay.
And she was showing me just some of the tracks that I did here, and then she's like, now this song it's a totally different genre, but all the same instruments.
Yeah.
She's like, now I know you did all this by yourself and you've never produced before, but listen to the difference in the separation and how things are compressed. And she's showing me stuff, and I'm just like, that's how you do that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay. Science and technology. And it's just, oh my God, like the difference between, you know, somebody kind of fumbling through the dark, trying to find their way, and somebody that's got all the lights turned on. It's like
complete difference.
Oh, huge.
And I respect it so much. Like coming from my position, like I really tried to be the engineer. It's just I don't know all those tricks and secrets, you know, but it's like I'd go in there and I'd just record what it is, and that like, oh, this needs to be thicker. Okay, well, I'll put a double track on it, thinking that it helped, but it didn't make it what I wanted to hear, you know?
Yeah. Well, I equate it to learning an instrument. It really is just as much, you know, like the difference between someone that's picking up a guitar for the first time versus somebody that has been studiously working on their instrument for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years.
Man. Yeah.
Versus, you know, a dude like you and me that just like, okay, let's see if I can figure this shit out.
Yep. Even differences like mic placement.
Huge,
you know?
Huge. And consistently placing the mic the same distance if you're doing overdubs days later, and what your amp is EQ'd to, what the volume is of the amp is EQ'd to, or EQ'd, what the volume of the amp is set to, what the volume of your mic for the capture is set to, making sure that everything is at the same capture that it was the first time, so that it's not this...
there's a school for it, man. You know, like...
Oh, dude, they're in there, but I have notebooks filled with how I fucked up.
Really?
Yeah.
How you fucked up.
Yeah, and how to like not do it again. You know, it's like, okay, this was the mistake. This is the correction. This was the mistake. Wow. This is because I was. I'll have to show it to you when we're done this. But I have a full like 14 track concept album that's not fully released yet. I have a couple of singles off of it that are on like YouTube and Spotify.
No
and
way.
stuff. Yeah. But
that's
like,
cool.
Yeah, and I made so many mistakes, and this is what's sort of frustrating is if you listen to the whole album, you can tell which tracks were recorded earlier and which ones are recorded later because the quality of the
consistency is not there, eh?
Not even close. But I mean, I'm still just I'm gonna put it out as is eventually because the next album's just gonna sound better, you know, and that's fine.
Just call it a demo album.
Yeah,
that's it.
Right?
And you get away with it.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, and so, but just stuff like that, it's I don't know. I really do think it's like an instrument because the amount of mistakes that I've made on, say, guitar or bass and how that's led to the way I play now, well, the same thing is happening with the way I mix stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so now when I'm doing the show, it's very, very quick. Little compression, little EQ,
it's a
limiter.
Different game, man.
Yeah, well, it's just voices, right? It's not. You don't have multiple instruments competing for sonic space.
Exactly. So, you're going for clarity.
Yeah,
that's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And even then, it's like it peaked here. I don't give a shit.
Doesn't matter.
You know, I laughed too close to the mic. Meh. Sorry, pardon me. Goddamn. But okay, so then after and in the interim of the bands and Seasons Fall, switching over from Match for the Curious and all that kind of stuff, you started getting into doing these really cool 3D frames.
Oh wow, yeah, I actually, so that became a thing by accident. Actually, well, I wouldn't say by accident. So I'm a big horror fan.
Yeah, and
so there's this festival that I actually take part of every year. It's called Frightmare in the Falls.
Oh, that's a great name too.
You writing these down?
They're in the vault.
They're in the vault. Okay. Yeah. So there was one few years ago that Tom Savini was supposed to attend, and I was like, I really want to make something cool for him to sign rather than just a poster or something. So I collect original movie posters as well. That's a whole nother story. Anyway, so I made this creep show frame.
Nice.
And I was all excited, and he ended up canceling at the last second, I guess, for filming. He was filming something, so he couldn't attend. It's like, nuts. So whatever, I hung it up on my wall because it was still cool.
Yeah.
You know. And I ended up posting it, and I just started getting message after message after message. Oh, can you make me one? Can you make me one? I was like, okay. Like, sure, I guess. Like, start doing it. And then it just kind of continued from that point on. And, you know, I ended up making some for some celebrities. I made one for Todd McFarlane.
I know.
Yeah,
that's so cool, and man.
You saw the video of
I did.
That I posted? Okay, so he sent me that video. I think it was like early Christmas Eve. And I felt like a little kid. I was like, oh my God. It made my day. It made my day. I was like, that's so cool.
Okay. So we obviously don't need any background on that, but maybe you should explain to the uninitiated who and what Todd McFarlane is.
Oh, Todd McFarlane, man, he's drawn all sorts of Spider-Man comics. He's the creator of Spawn. How do you not know Spawn?
It's a new world, man. We're old now.
He's What'd you say? What?
Get off my lawn, you damn kids!
Get
I
off!
almost said porch, but I don't know.
You don't get off my lawn. I'm going to call Matlock.
Nice.
Anyway.
You called this shit poo.
Yeah. You called it. Oh, shit. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of Todd McFarlane. So, yeah, he drew the Spider-Man #1 comic. I don't know if you know that issue. I sent you my list, right?
Oh, yeah.
You took some time to look over that? Okay, cool.
I think everybody knows that is a Todd McFarlane fan anyway. I think everybody knows the frame that you're like the cover that you're talking about.
Yeah, the new cover, Spawn versus Batman.
Oh man, so good.
Like so many people were waiting for that, you know, and I was so honored to like, oh yeah, send one. It's like, boom, I'm getting on it right away. And I think I came up with a different couple concepts before I sent him the one that I did. But I'm glad I sent him the one I did because it turned out great and he was happy with it. And so I made one for him, Lynn Griffin, she starred in Black Christmas.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. I did one for Tyler Maine, 2 for Tyler Maine, actually, some Halloween ones.
Oh, cool.
Man, there's so many I can't really recall. So yeah, I did those for a while, and I just ended up not doing them anymore because they were kind of, to get things printed and whatnot, they're pricey, and it's hard to get things done to a certain size, and it has to be specific. If I actually invested and I got like one of those $10,000 printers or whatever, sure, no problem. But at the same time, it's just there's too many activities and projects that I want to get involved in, and that just didn't make the top 5, you know?
Right.
So I'd rather start pushing my brand, my graphics. I want to get a little bit more into music again, the voiceovers, like I said. So
sure, yeah.
There's only so much time in the day.
Yeah.
You know? And like those frames take a long time to do.
Well, they are very intricate. For anybody that's seen any of the pictures of them, they are gorgeous. I would like to see a physical one someday, but
I got 1, 2, I got 4 in my house right now.
So, do you?
Yeah.
Cool.
That Creep Show one.
Yeah,
There's
I'd love to see that.
Actually, the story about that too. So the October that just passed, Frightmare in the Falls, Tom Savini actually came.
Oh, cool.
But because I had a booth and I had more merch than I did the previous year, I couldn't fit the frame in the car.
Oh, man.
So I never ended up getting it signed by him.
Shit.
But I did get to meet him.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he took a shirt for me. So
yeah. Oh, dude, that's rad.
So that made my day, and I still showed him the picture anyway, and he thought it was really cool. So maybe one day I'll get it signed by him.
That's awesome. Yeah, you should, man. Yeah. Totally do it. Oh, man. He's so good. He is so unreal.
Oh, man. He's the man.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Tom Savini is a horror effects guru.
Yes, that's a good word for it, yeah.
And
the master.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Well, give the folks kind of like what are your top 10 projects that he has worked on?
Top 10?
Is that too narrow?
Creep Show is definitely up there. Dawn of the Dead, Friday the 13th. Man, you name it. Like, he's been a part of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you could think of, right? Like, if he hasn't been like directly on it, he's been an influence on it. Like,
oh yeah. Anybody that started doing horror makeup post 19 what? When was his first big one?
Oh man. I'm trying to think of the date. Creep Show was 82, I think.
Okay, because
he was before that, so like early 70s anyway.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And he was in the army too, so that's what he was talking to me. Took a lot of his inspiration from there because the stuff that he's seen, right?
Yeah.
So he knows how things are supposed to look. So he had adhered that to his artistic values, right?
Yeah.
So he knew, you know, it's only supposed to have actually that amount of blood, or, you know, the flesh rips open this way. I don't want to get into all the gruesome details, but like, yeah, there's a reason he's the pro, man.
Yeah. Well, he was a photographer for the Vietnam War or something, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Man, that's a hell of a way to find catharsis, I guess, is almost like recreating the horrors that you saw in an attempted deal, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate, but
yeah,
he does a good job.
It's a fantastic job. Yeah.
It's fucking unreal.
Yeah.
Also, and I know it's funny, it's not an effects thing, but one of my favorite things he ever did was from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes, Sex Machine.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
His dick gun, that thing was hilarious. Yeah.
And then he grabs the beer with the whip.
Yeah.
Pulls it over.
So awesome.
I think one of my favorite scenes from that movie is when he's turning into the vampire, and he's kind of like, it's not like anybody else. Like anybody else just dies and they come back, but he's got this like comedic gimmick about it. He's like, the hand grows and the fingernails, and he like tries to hide it, and he's looking around, and he gets a fang that grows, and he's like touching it with his tooth, like, with his tongue, and he's like hiding it. It's so comical. I love it.
It was great.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Rodriguez and Tarantino teaming up. How are you going to beat that?
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. And honestly, I think, I don't care what anybody says, that's probably my favorite George Clooney role.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
He played that role so well.
Absolutely.
So well. Man. A little inspiration, I guess.
Yeah. That's so killer. If you can't, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, I got to get it cleaned up a bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've had that for a while, though, huh?
Yeah.
And the birds, too.
I kind of forget that they're there sometimes, but
okay.
Yeah. All the edges got to get cleaned up at some point.
Well, I suppose they fade over time, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no ink, so I couldn't tell you.
None at all, eh?
None at all.
Plans?
Every time I get a design made, I have a rule, and I'm sure you can see, I've got nothing hung up right now. But my rule is every time I get the itch, I'll get a design done, and I'll pay for the design from friends of mine that are tattoo artists. Mm-hmm. I'll hang it up over my monitors in whatever my workspace happens to be, because that's also where I practice. Because with that kind of stuff, I just plug straight into the board. Anyway, and I look at it every single day, and if I can look at it every day for a year and say that has to be on me, then I'll do it. And so far, I've never made it past 4 months.
Really?
Yeah, and every time it's like, I mean, roughly.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good method. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
thank you.
I wish you could have told me that when I was 18.
Sure.
But here we are.
Oh, dude, here's the thing though. If I'd have had the money at 18 for tattoos, I'd probably be covered in shit. Actually, one of them would be a gigantic anarchy symbol on my back. And another one would be the Batman symbol across my tits. And super glad I was really poor at the time. And the only thing I could afford were basically guitar strings or bass strings. If I was like really rolling in some dough, I might get new bass strings.
See? But that led you to where you are now.
Sure. Well, because that was the thing. It's like either I save my money long enough to get tats, or I can be sure that my strings won't break at the next show. Because I don't.
That's important.
Yeah, because I can't afford a backup guitar or bass. Because let's face it, 99% of the time anybody hires me to do anything, it's to play the bass. So.
You are a master.
Well,
a master.
I'm much better than I used to be. Master is...
When you came out that first day and you started playing, dude, I was like, shit. What?
Well, thank you. That's very generous. You know what's funny is, God, that was 15 years ago. I feel like compared to now, if I were to compare my playing now to then, there's a pretty significant difference.
I bet I would be floored again.
I'll show you some stuff when we're done.
Yes, please.
Yeah, cool.
On that bass.
I don't want to play that one.
Come on.
No, here, I'll show you the one I want to play.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, I've never busted this out on the show, but there. You can hold it. Woohoo!
Oh yeah, baby.
That is a 5-string Warwick Corvette.
I think my old bassist had this. You're my old bassist, but my other old bassist. And this thing has amazing low end.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity, low end. Mm-hmm. Like one of my favorite. And I think one of the bassists I used to work with had one of these, and every time they picked up another bass, I was like, really? Come on.
I love it. I love the way it feels. I love the way it sounds.
Yeah.
It's got crazy low
I'm
action.
not a bassist.
No, that's all right.
I'm not a bassist. I play the thing like a guitar set. Got to use a pick.
Yeah. Hey,
excuse me.
Actually,
sorry.
it actually sounds
awesome.
really cool with a pick, especially if you use it. Depending on what kind of amp you put it through. So my preference is if I'm using a flat pick on this, I actually prefer to use the heart key to the GK, okay. Mostly because of the cones in the speaker. These are aluminum cones, and they just give it this weird brightness that doesn't come through the neodyne. And so when I flat pick on this thing, I always do it through that amp. Whereas if I'm doing more fingerstyle, or if I'm doing slap and pop, is kind of a coin toss. Honestly.
Yeah.
So,
but you got the guy from Mudvayne who does a lot of that. And like Fieldy from Korn.
Yep. And
how do you usually judge whether you're going to finger pick, slap, or use a pick?
Well, I guess, do you mean for original music or for recreation? Because if I'm covering something, I just do what the original track was done with. Like if it's flat picked on the original track, I use
And you can
spot
hear that.
Yeah, I can hear the difference now. Couldn't always. But now I will say I've been fooled. I was do you remember the band I Mother Earth?
Of course.
Okay, so I was hanging with
we opened up for them.
Nice. So I was hanging with Jag and Christian Tana last year, and I was convinced that the chorus for One More Astronaut was slapped. Convinced. And it isn't. It's finger plucking. And
really?
Yeah, and my initial instinct was to just go slack jawed, and I felt it, and I was like, no way,
well,
no way.
If you're using a pick, there's a little bit more like string noise that you hear, right?
Yeah, well, you can hear the attack of the pick because it doesn't sound like skin, right? And but I was convinced that it was slap and pop. He's like, nope, it's just finger pluck. And the original bass player Bruce, the way that he did it was almost like slapping, but with the index finger, and it was over top of the pickup, and like right on top of the pickup.
Yeah, that placement I know makes a huge difference.
It does, yeah. Like wherever you're plucking, like if you're plucking back closer to the bridge, you're gonna get that more like really sort of brighter, more. Jaco used to do Jaco Pastorius used to switch from like either mid neck or bridge to really change his tone. And if you want that like really kind of woolly sort of sound, you play closer to the neck. If you want like a nice meaty sound, you play in the middle. And if you want that like really bright kind of sound, then you pluck at the bridge.
Yeah.
And as you traverse within with this camera, I guess, if you traverse this, everything is going to have a gradient. So, anyway,
it's more than just about playing the notes.
Oh, yeah. It's also how hard you do it and also the notes you don't play.
That's right.
Silence is massive. Just
those drops, man.
Oh, yeah. Huge, right?
When we were in that band, 22 Ounce Kilo that I mentioned, we recorded at a place called The Lab downtown on Girard, and he was that engineer, John. I gotta reconnect with that guy. He was the first one that really showed us any sort of drop or pause. There was a song called All You'll Ever Need, and we used to just go intro, verse, chorus, blah blah blah. But after the first chorus, he's like, oh, just trust me, guys, just trust me. And he hits play, and there was just this complete break, like da-da, boom, and then went back into the verse, and we all just looked around like, whoa, it like popped up like it was the most amazing thing ever. It's like, you're celebrating nothing. We're not playing anything, and that's the best part.
Well, if you think about it, it makes sense because you can create all kinds of tension with really dissonant harmonies, right?
Yeah.
What is more tense than just do it with me? Ugh, right? Yeah. Fucking please say something, do something.
Yes.
And then when it comes back, you just go, oh, okay, holy shit.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called an awkward silence.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
You can even hear it like on the radio, like if you're, I don't know. Yes, I'm old. I listen to talk radio sometimes, sure.
We're doing talk radio right now.
News 640 or whatever. And if there's a cutout on somebody's mic, you're like, what happened? What? And then they come back like, oh, we're having technical. Oh, because it's so it's
a
so
relief.
consistent, right?
Yeah.
Like your ear gets used to it, but when there's that break, there's that something, you kind of perk up and you're like, oh, that's cool. But like, I think in a sense, like commercial music has turned into like a very cookie cutter platform.
Yeah.
You know, like,
it's very AB. There's
like
a lot of songs don't have a bridge anymore.
Do you remember when songs used to have like a third verse? Like, you remember Smells Like Teen Spirit? There was a verse after the fucking bridge, man.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore. It comes out of the solo or the bridge, and it's like you play half of the chorus like with no drums, and then there's a build up, and then it goes into like a double chorus, and like it's just this. Like, it sounds good, but it's just the same thing over and over again, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it works, but like,
yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, dude. Like, in terms of arrangement or chord progression or whatever, there are stock kind of quote unquote cliches, kind of for a reason. I mean, if you think about, and this is probably going to sound like gibberish to a lot of people, and I'm sorry, but if you think about a chord progression that's a 1 6 4 5. So like if you go from C major to A minor to F major to G major, just as an example for no sharps, no flats, just to keep it super simple, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of songs that have done that across basically recorded music history, and if you put slight variations on them, they turn into other tunes. So like that one as an example, 1645, that is Run Around Sue by Dion. It is Dire Maker by Led Zeppelin. It's Dear Future Husband by Meghan Trainor. It's, wow, you know what I mean? It's a huge chunk of that is Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. If you just swap it a little bit so that it's, instead of 1645, if you go 1564, then it turns into When I Come Around by Green Day. It also turns into I Believe in You by Michael Bublé.
Dude, what the heck?
Yeah, it's all the same. Dude, it's all the same shit.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like, there's a reason it exists, because it sounds fucking great. And it's the same thing with cookie cutter arrangements. The problem is we get so used to hearing it over and over and over again that people that look for variation, that look for a little bit of chaos, we get bored of that. But then the flip side that is a problem also is the people that aren't looking for, we'll leave that there for now, for people that aren't looking for chaos, for people that just want to, I don't know, they just want to melt into the couch and stay there because it's warm and it's comfortable, and you wrap yourself in, the mundane like a duvet. Well, then you never want to leave, and you get the same stuff over and over and over, and it kind of becomes this musical purgatory, and it's fucking infuriating.
Right?
Unless you go panning for gold. And then, a lot of times you're just going to find rocks, but every once in a while you get yourself a little gold nugget, and then it's Sizzler, baby.
There comes a time too when I just feel like, I think you've obviously written tons of music, and you've come up to a point where you're like, this kind of sounds like this, or that kind of sounds. It's like, man, does it sound good? Does it sound... Yeah. Are you happy with it?
Yeah.
Is it entertaining? Like, isn't that the ultimate goal, really, is just...
100%. Yeah. And it's, it becomes...
Just something to jive to, man.
Fuck yeah.
That you have fun playing. That's, like, what it comes down to, is just have fun playing it. Like, it opens something in you, like...
Big time. Well, it's that thing where people are like, oh, that's a bad song. It's like, no, you just don't like that song. Mm-hmm. It's like, that doesn't necessarily make it a bad song or a bad band. Like... I mean, I guess there are objective truths for technical prowess, and there are obviously varying levels of how well somebody can manipulate their instrument. But like this is kind of a thought experiment I put forward to as many people as I can that are big music dorks, which is what's a better song, A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles or La Villa Strangiato by Rush? Right. That's a hard question, because one of them is unbelievably complex and sophisticated. The other one,
it's like, do you like pizza or spaghetti, man? Like,
right? Who made it?
Yeah.
Who made it?
Yeah.
That's going to dictate whether or not I like it.
Yeah.
And how well was it done?
And there's different eras too, right?
Big
like
time.
You're influenced by different people. Mm-hmm. And That's a huge factor in it, man.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious? I used to shit talk so much pop music and stuff when I was young. And now I'm like, fuck it, Spice Girls are awesome. Because they're fucking awesome, dude. That song Wannabe, that's a dope track. Like, from an arrangement perspective, from a vocal perspective especially, killer. The lyrics are silly as all get out, but it's so fun.
When you press stop, are you humming it back to yourself 5 minutes later?
Yeah. Are you know, just because I said that, I wonder how many people are just thinking, if you want to be my love.
Thanks, man. The rest of the day now.
Yeah, right? Zigzag. Right? That's all anybody...
Yep.
That's all people are going to be thinking about. So tell me what you want, what you really want. You know? And that... Dude, there's not a week that goes by that hook doesn't pop into my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Like every week you think about the
once
Wannabe?
a week. I think about Wannabe. I also think about it's Michael Jackson. The Way You Make Me Feel.
That's a good one too.
I think about that bass line specifically probably once a week.
And just randomly think about it?
Yeah, and it'll change the way I walk, man. I'll be walking down the street and then just...
I could just picture you walking down the street now, like to the corner store. Like,
yeah.
It reminds me of that, the Spider-Man 3 movie, when he's walking down the street to get that suit. But there's some person online like made that scene but took the music out of it. And it's so awkward to watch. So now I'm just picturing you like that.
Yeah. It's probably right.
Yeah.
My hair's combed over to the side.
Yeah, nobody's hearing what you're hearing, bro.
No. And I mean, you can't just walk up to people and be like, "Hey, pretty baby, wear the high heels on." Because they'd be like, "What the fuck?" Oh, dude, yeah, that's how you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to do that.
You better be doing the moonwalk, bro.
Right? Yeah. I haven't practiced it in so long, man. There was a time when I was very adept, but that's a long time ago now.
Are you gonna branch out into the headset and the dance moves thing?
Oh, with the Britney Spears mic?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I'd come to that show for sure.
I mean, well, now I might have to.
You do it, I'm there.
I might have to now.
Yeah.
I don't know how well my tunes lend themselves to moonwalking.
I believe in you.
Or break. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm not a dancer at all. No.
I used to be so obsessed. I was talking about this actually on the last podcast, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about your clothing line because this stuff is super dope. You've actually had like a handful of bands wearing your swag on stage now.
Yeah, a few. I mean, Zig 7 is mostly like they're huge supporters of me, and I can't thank them enough, man. Like, they're like brothers to me, and like every time they do something, I try and support them as much as I can.
That's awesome.
Between graphics or anything, man, like do what I can for them. So yeah, they get my swag and they look dope on stage, bro.
Yeah, they do. They look really cool, and it's. I mean, I know it seems simple and like a no shit, but the white on black really pops.
Yeah, so there's a shop downtown I used to go to called Black Market.
Cool.
Remember that shop at all?
I used to do so much.
Actually, I still go there. But
I used to do a lot of drugs, bro. I don't remember anything, man.
So I really like the simplicity. I'm not saying that's like where I've taken it from, but I'm sure it was an inspiration subconsciously. But I really like just like the simplicity. They just had like single print shirts for like really cheap, and I liked it. Like I don't want like major brand association kind of thing, so it goes well with like a punk vibe or hard rock vibe.
Yeah,
and so again, like kind of subconsciously, that's how I started with this a little bit. But probably more so as an artist, and my biggest hurdle is I'm colorblind.
No shit.
Yeah. Like I forget what the actual terminology is, but it's like blues and purples, reds and greens. And so it just kind of works because like black and white and like red just pops for me. Like,
yeah.
As you can kind of see, right? I just like the look of it. It's probably why I bought stuff from Black Market, because I'm like, that's cool. Like, I love contrast.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so
there's plenty between black and white.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of how I applied everything. I mean, I've done paintings and whatnot for commissions before, and it's gone wrong.
Oh, no.
I remember one specifically. There was one of like a landscape I was doing. It had like water in the background, and I think I painted it purple.
Oh.
Yeah, and somebody was like, "Oh, that's nice, but why is the water purple?" I was like, "You got to be kidding me, man!" Because I blend the colors, right? So, and I guess I'm making myself sound like
No, it's just amazing that you have found a workaround for.
I have to adapt to where
my
around my weaknesses, right? So that's
what we're all trying to do. Well, if you're trying to get better at what you're doing, then you should be.
And I've obviously found a route where I'm able to do so. So, and I've actually been gaining traction with this, and a lot of good things are coming of it.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah. And
I'm excited for you. And like, legitimately, I'm not just blowing smoke because you're my buddy, but this is cool. I really like this stuff. So
thanks, man.
I'm very glad to have it, and I will definitely be wearing it around. So
cheers, man. Yeah, I want to branch out into a little bit more stuff, like new designs maybe this year. I'm trying to do like more artwork as well. Not just clothes, but just being artistic overall.
Yeah.
And whatever I can do, I just want to get my stuff out there.
That's awesome.
You know? Yeah, because I've always been a type of artist that bounces around.
Yeah.
And
a little bit of
I could never pick. Like, I'm always working on this, then I'm shifting over to this, then I'm shifting to this, then I'm doing this, then I'm doing this. And I just kind of got to stay in a lane sometimes, you know, like.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know?
I've trouble with that with instrumentation.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, shiny. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. And then, but, you know, there are certain things where it's like, okay, this is a forever. Like, luckily for music, by 14, I knew I was doing that forever.
Yes.
And then, well, we were talking about the martial arts stuff earlier. Like, I took like a 15-year hiatus.
Holy cow.
And then I was like, okay.
Taekwondo, you said?
That's what I started with judo, then it was taekwondo, and then it was karate. And then I took 15 years off. And then now it's pretty much, not pretty much, it is exclusively Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, cool.
So I would like to try to mix it. I would like to try my hand at MMA training.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if I want to compete in that because I'm so old.
That would... You're not that old, bro.
Well, for MMA competition?
Yeah, eh?
At 40?
I guess.
That's too fucking old, man. To start?
Yeah, I guess so.
My peak physical prowess would have been 5 years ago.
Would you even have the time for that either?
To fight? I had a kickboxing.
That stuff, yeah.
I had a kickboxing fight 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you win?
No.
That's okay.
It was a bit of, I'm not trying to make excuses.
Yeah.
But I weighed in at 150, and the other dude weighed in at 173, I think. And he beat the shit out of me. In front of my very pregnant wife.
Oh my God. Can he defend me?
Not against that dude. No.
Yeah, nope.
The answer is no.
Nope. Oh my God.
So, but
that takes a lot of time. The training, the dedication.
It does.
The diet.
Yeah, the diet. The diet is. I have the ability to flip this switch in my head where food becomes fuel.
Yeah.
And it's no longer for pleasure. If I don't have to, I'd rather not. But I do live in that pretty often. And then training, I train on average 5 days a week.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get back into that. I used to train a lot, 5-6 times a week. Not for anything other than working out.
Yeah.
It's like, but sure. I'm a hard gainer. So I was eating probably 4,500 calories a day kind of thing.
Shit.
And and I was obviously seeing results and I was happy, but that's a lifestyle you got to pick, man.
Yeah.
And that's all I was doing. After work, boom, gym. I'd go to do my workout, come home, I'd make something to eat, shower, and then it's bed. I didn't have time for anything else, and I hated that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a morning guy. I can't wake up in the morning. That's not happening, man.
Cool.
Can't.
I got a quick question because I'm so sorry because we'll go into overtime and talk about this kind of stuff because I love this kind of thing. This dude, where did he come from? The little imp. Sorry for anybody just listening. The one of the main mascots, logos. What would you call it?
Sure, a mascot, I guess.
Okay, cool. The main mascot for Hearts and Scars is this really awesome looking little imp dude. Where did he come from?
The deepest parts of my creative. Honestly, when I started Hearts and Scars, it wasn't intended to be what it is today. Like, okay, what we were talking about before, how I said I've always put pen to paper. Mm-hmm. Well, it got to a point where it's like, well, I was becoming very lethargic and lazy, and I wasn't really doing much, and I was really beating myself up over it. So it's like, you know what? I want to get back into being creative. And this was right after like A Match for the Curious dropped out. Right. And I went through that. There was those years that I was actually doing nothing. And I was like, I've drawn forever, and I'm just going to let this go. Like it's a talent that I have. Like, so I buckled down and like I beat myself up and said, you're going to do a drawing every single night. Crappy, great, doesn't matter. Something's got to be done every night. What are you going to do? Yeah. You're just sitting around watching TV. You're doing nothing anyway. Do something, man. Like, push yourself. So I did. I don't do it anymore as much. I got a lot of other things, but I think it was about 2 months, I actually stuck to it.
That's awesome.
And that's where like all of these designs came from. It's just, I pounded one out every single night. And it started taking a toll on me because I was up till probably 3 a.m, making sure it gets done. And I'm kind of impatient like that. Like I'm not an artist who can start something and work on it for 2 years.
Right.
I just want it done.
Yeah.
I want to see the result. I want to see it now. Mm. And that's probably a weakness I got to work on. But anyway, so this little imp guy, I think he was like, I'll show you a picture of my initial design, but I think he was like the second or third drawing of those nights. And
wow, really?
Yeah. So I made the drawing, and then I used to put like a bone border and like hearts in the background and whatnot. And for every page of my sketchbook, I'd kind of add the same kind of flair to it. And every time I open my sketchbook, like that guy, he just popped at me every single time. I was nice. Like, he's like looking at me with some intent. Like, I've got a purpose, dude. Like, please help me out. And so yeah, I just started looking into like, what can I do with this? I'm like, okay, t-shirts would be cool. Like, easy to do. So I started looking into getting screens made, and then I started doing custom t-shirts and hoodies and whatnot. And yeah, it's just progressed from there. And actually the one on your hat was actually, so when I was in Seasons Fall, we had our own jam space, and I did a huge mural on the wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome.
And so I drew him behind, I believe it was behind my drummer's kit. And I just spray painted him on the wall. No, I didn't spray paint him. It was just acrylic with a brush. Just as dirty and grungy as I possibly could on the wall. And I took a picture of it, and I just really loved the way it looked. And so I brought it in to Photoshop and vectorized it and played around with it a bit, and
that's awesome.
Now it's on a hat.
That's so cool, dude. So there you go, everybody. If you are feeling, I don't know, uninspired or unmotivated, give yourself a goal and then just start chipping, because there you go. That's a great story for anybody that's feeling stuck in a rut.
Just little bit by little bit, man. Yeah. You don't have to reach for the biggest thing right away, man. Like just something. Just something every day. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Yep.
It's better. What else are you going to do?
Right.
Sit around and do nothing?
I fucking love that kind of shit, dude.
That's why, too, I think I have so many avenues and so many things I want to do on my plate. Because if I'm not inspired by one thing, I move on to the next. Yeah. I always got something I can reach out and put my mind towards. But it's cool. There's a shop downtown called Cult 1696.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy place, man. The owner's name's Sean, and you know Play Dead Cult.
No, I don't.
So he used to have that shop. He had shops all over Toronto for a while, and he makes really cool clothing. This is actually one of his vests.
That's a sick vest.
Yeah. And good buddy of mine. So they brought me into the shop. They said, like, you know, let's have your stuff in here and see what we can do for you. And I appreciate them wholeheartedly. So their shop is incredible. So they got tattoos. They got so they got tattoos. There's a salon. It's like a art studio. They got skate decks. They got all sorts of merch. There's a studio in the basement.
What?
Yeah, man. Like it's such a cool place to go to. So if you're ever in 1696 Queen Street in Toronto, it's like Roncesvalles and Queen.
Awesome.
Yeah. Go check it out.
Nice. Super quick because we're out of time for the radio. I definitely want to do the overtime.
Cool.
For anybody listening to the radio, give them all your social media stuff where they can find Hearts and Scars and all that kind of stuff.
Anything you want to find, you can go to www.heartsandscars.ca. It's going to take you to my Instagram page. And you can also check out, I do graphics as well. So brgraphics.ca. It's on Instagram as well. You can find it through Hearts and Scars as well. And yeah.
Cool. And that's got all your social links, Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks for Pet Rock to putting this out. And thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
Brandon Ross.
Ciao.
Hey, what's up, 646 listeners? It's Dawson McManus here, holding it down on the low end as a bass player. And I can tell you, I know the struggle. You're grooving along, you're locking into the drums, everything's perfect, and then wham! You're totally drowned out by the cymbals. It's a total vibe killer. I know I'm not alone. That's why I'm super stoked to tell you about the Mad Cymbal Shields by Mad Sound Dynamics. Mad Cymbal Shields are a total game changer. They're designed to control volume and harshness without killing the natural tone. That means drummers can still go all out with their energy and passion, while the rest of us, bass players, singers, guitarists, keyboardists, etc., actually hear ourselves in the mix. And sound engineers, they are gonna love you for cutting down on the cymbal bleed from literally every other mic on stage. Drummers, listen up. Don't hold back. Play with the intensity and the power and the passion that drives the tune without overpowering the band. With Mad Cymbal Shields, you can let loose while keeping everything balanced. Trust me, your bass player and everybody else on stage is gonna thank you for it. And because you are part of the 646 family, Mad Sound Dynamics is giving you a special exclusive deal. Use the promo code 646 at checkout on madsounddynamics.com and get 10% off of your order. That's right, better sound for the whole band and at a discount just for tuning in. Looking for the perfect gift for your drummer? Give them something everyone will thank you for. Check out madsounddynamics.com today, and don't forget to use the promo code 646 to get your 10% off. Mad Cymbal Shields, Mad Sound Dynamics, because great music starts with balance. Let's get back to the show. Cool, and we're back with overtime on the streaming. And anybody watching the streaming, that shit doesn't get cut out. Nothing gets cut.
Nothing gets cut.
No, nothing ever gets cut.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a sloppy show sometimes, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh shit!
Because it's just, I don't know, man. Like I just want it to be a conversation. I don't want to do an interview show. You know what I mean? Those are kind of.
You can kind of tell those shows apart.
They're a little clunky sometimes.
Yeah.
Where they feel, I don't know.
It's too boxed in.
Yeah.
You know, you want reality. You want honest truth.
Yeah.
You know, and you can tell that when people are talking, you know.
Yeah. And if, you know, I think people crave authenticity in such a
100%.
plastic world, you know. So
it's really turning into that.
I'm trying. I'm trying. So sometimes
it's our duty to keep things clean and fresh and
yeah. I'm sorry, I'm hung up on the word duty.
Duty. You said duty.
Yeah. Such a child.
You gotta be a little bit at heart, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I kind of developmentally stopped at 15 and it's just kind of stayed there. I don't know. We saw Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, and I was like, I don't need to go any further.
I can't believe some days I'm the age that I am. Honestly.
Yeah. I know, right?
Like, I feel it some days.
Sure.
But, like, mentally.
Oh, I know.
Like, I'll talk to other adults. I'm like, we're not on the same level, you and I.
Yeah.
I can't vibe with you. We're good. You go over there now.
Right. They're like, oh, that's a dirty word. And you're like, shit?
Language, young man.
Dude.
Young man?
There's a dude that I work with, and he'll go, language. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yes, it is. You're correct.
Yeah. Language, my rotten taint.
Yeah.
How dare you, sir? It's not. I take good care of it, but just to put the word rotten in there makes it more uncomfortable.
Yeah. I believe you, yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Choda.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. And Choda Boy!
Right. Oh,
remember
dude.
that movie? Orgasmo?
Fuck yeah, dude. I think unicorns are kick ass.
Yeah. I gotta watch this movie again,
It's so good. Oh my god, dude! I was going through as much Matt and Trey stuff as I could find a couple months ago, and just howling with laughter. I literally don't know how many times I've seen Team America in theaters.
Really?
At least 7 times in theaters.
Seriously, I don't think I've ever seen any movie 7 times in theaters.
Wow. Okay, so
Twice, max.
Yeah, part of the reason for that was my younger brother, my younger sister, and their extended friend group. They're all quite a bit younger than me. So when that movie came out, I was 18, and you had to be accompanied by someone that was at least 18 and older. And so...
AA, adult accompaniment.
Adult accompaniment, that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So... I was the most irresponsible, quote unquote, adult.
I believe
that
it.
they knew. So I was taking all of these fucking 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds to go see Team America, and I was like, "You guys pay for my ticket, and I will go with you." So I saw it 7 times in theaters at least.
Nobody stopped you, so. These are your kids? Oh yeah, They're
I just have a severe aversion to pulling out, and always have. It's like none of them look anything like you. I didn't say it was monogamous,
yeah.
right? So, but oh shit. But yeah, dude, all that stuff is just, I love it so much. But okay, so the working out thing.
Oh yes.
When you were training and stuff, were you lifting? Were you doing boxing? What were you doing?
just free weights.
Yeah,
and just regular gym stuff. I used to train with my drummer. He's
jacked.
Yeah, man, he's huge, man. He used to. Well, I think he used to be a model. I know that.
Ooh. Handsome devil then.
Sexy.
Yeah. Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, he's dedicated. I don't think I've met anybody else in that mindset.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where he is, what he's got going. He always makes time for himself so he can do that. It's crazy,
important.
Man.
If I can only speak from personal experience, but I know for me, on days that if I'm sick or something and I don't get to train, my emotional stability is not the same.
Yeah.
I have a much shorter fuse. I don't sleep the same. And
that's right,
there's just so many things but when I get up early and come downstairs, first thing I do, after you take a leak, but first thing I do every morning, I get up, come down to the gym. I do 100 squats, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 calf raises every day. It's the first thing I do.
That's not the workout?
No, that's just how I work. That's just how I wake up.
Oh.
And then I will, spend time with the kid and my wife, and then kid goes to daycare. I come home and I either practice, do podcast stuff, or whatever business needs to be taken care of, and then I go to the martial arts gym and I'll train for, and I get there a solid hour before the actual training class begins, and I'll do some other kind of workout, usually a shitload of pull-ups, and then so I'll usually train for weightlifting or pull-up free weights, body weight, stuff for about half an hour, and then I'll stretch for half an hour, and then I'll train for an hour.
Nice.
And I do that Monday to Friday, unless I'm gigging, and especially like if I have to be out of town, then it's just the stuff in the home gym in the morning. Yeah. But if I don't do that pretty much every day, and I'm a little weird, and I'm a little on edge, and it just
yeah.
And then intrusive thoughts come in when I'm trying to play as well. You know, like instead of the good old mantra, focus on the song you're playing, they'll be like, that motherfucker cut me off in traffic, and then I'm not thinking about.
Your mind can be like your worst enemy, you know, like shit, no, yeah. Like that's an under exaggeration too. Like it's like a constant battle between you and your thoughts, and I guess it's like a defense mechanism. Your mind always finds some sort of excuse not to do something.
Big time.
I think that's what makes everything such a challenge sometimes, you know. But if you persevere and you figure out a good regiment for yourself, and you can get around things and reformat your mind, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, I used to work out in the gym. I used to go to like Fit for Less and that kind of thing. But it wasn't really working for me. Like it's so saturated in there, man. There's so many people that go there.
Yeah.
And like every time I went in with a plan, like your workout plan. But every time I had to, I'm going to do shoulders today. I'm going to go to nope, somebody's at the machine. Oh, I'm going to go, nope. And then you're thrown off right away. Like, you know, when you work out, you're trying to get your blood pressure up, right?
Yep. Big time.
So what? I got to stand around for an extra 20 minutes because there's two guys waiting for this machine. Like it just killed my buzz for it, man.
I get it.
So I moved on to like just body weight stuff. Honestly,
it's the shit, dude.
Yeah.
You can get so shredded doing body
weight
stuff.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I just focus on like doing like 200 push-ups a day.
Nice.
Push-ups, squats, and like pull-ups.
Yeah.
And like not for anything other than to just get exercise in.
Yeah.
Like I don't have any real goal, but just stay healthy, you know?
Yeah.
I don't need to have six-pack and like invisible luggage syndrome.
Invisible luggage. I've not heard that, but that is the perfect descriptor.
Walk around like that, right?
Yeah, the dudes that like, look at my lats.
Yeah.
It's like, cool. Good for you.
So I didn't need that. I just wanted to not. There comes a point when you don't work out, like you just feel weak. Like, I'd pick up why is that so heavy?
Yeah.
It's like, really? I got to start doing something, man, because I'm gonna fall apart and my whole body's gonna start atrophying.
Yeah. Well, and especially in we have, I guess, sort of similar in fields in that they're sedentary. Like if you're drawing or painting or, you know, doing something, you're seated most of the time.
Yeah.
And then same thing with practicing and stuff like that, with playing bass or guitar or piano or something. I'm sitting on my ass, and I am seated minimum 9 hours a day.
Yeah, same.
So it's like, oh, Jesus.
Because I'm at work.
Right.
I'm in front of the computer. I do sales, right? So
oh,
it's like,
yeah, sure.
I'm sitting like this all day, just in front of a computer, and like every 10 minutes, I'm like, I try and put my posture back up, and I slowly start going back down. It's like, man, I wake up, I get in the car, I'm sitting in the car, I go to work, I get to work, I'm sitting down all day.
Yeah.
Then what? I go home. I'm sitting in the car to go home. Then what do I do when I go home? I sit down in front of the computer, I start doing graphics. It's like, man, I gotta switch it up, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah. When it's weird too, like, is you sit enough and it hurts.
Yeah,
just from sitting. Like sometimes, like shit, like on a long drive to a gig or something. Say it's like a 4-hour drive to the show. You get out of the car and you stand up and you're like, oh, my knees, holy fuck, oh my god, my hamstrings feel like they're knots. Everything is.
It's getting harder for me to do longer drives. Like even today, like,
what was
like my patience level of it too, right? Like I forget what's the North Highway coming up here.
Oh, the 115.
Yeah. So I was on there, and it was almost coming to the offer, and I'm like, where is this place? I looked down, it's like, I've only been driving for like an hour and a half. Like, it's not that bad. Like, but like, I don't know. I can't do long drives anymore, I guess. Like, I'll come up here whenever you want, though.
All right.
Yeah, because it's you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I love you.
Oh, I love you too, man. I'll make my way to, I'm in Toronto quasi regularly.
Are you?
Yeah, well, more so now.
For that studio?
Maybe. Shh. We'll talk about it later. I just don't want to say too much on air right now about the studio stuff.
What studio? What are
nothing.
What are you talking about?
Weird hallucination. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I just had a weird drug flashback. That's all, man.
Oh, yeah, I get those too.
Yeah.
I get them from Vietnam.
Yeah, right. Charlie's in the trees.
That's right.
Except for mine is Charlie Brown. It's really upsetting.
Gotta get out of here. This is backcountry.
Yeah. Tell me about the fucking golf shoes. Hell yeah, man.
Oh, I dressed up as him for a Halloween party I threw one year.
Nice.
And apparently I was impeccable.
I could see that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Did you have a ball cap and the whole thing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I unfortunately ended the party for myself too early. I had a bad habit of doing that.
Yeah.
At my parties. Anybody's listening who attended my parties, you probably know that I was probably there for about the most of an hour.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Mostly booze or?
Yeah. So that party in particular, I do remember I get all excited, right? So everybody that walks through the door, hey, have a shot with me. Hey, have a shot.
Right.
Well, yeah, like fucking 20 people showed up in the matter of, 35 minutes.
Whoa.
And it was tequila.
Oh, good
So
Lord.
They all had one shot. I had
20.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude.
I was in bed.
Yeah. I guess so. Holy smokes. Yeah, I was never a big drinker. I was a huge pothead. Enormous pothead. Can't do it anymore, though.
No way.
I know. I'm sorry I'm talking about it again, but I get fucking panic attacks, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't understand. I know there's two sides. There are two people. There's those people that can smoke and actually function better when they're high. And then there's people like me who are completely useless.
Yeah.
Useless. Like, I smoked up and I tried singing at practice once. And I didn't know where the fuck I was, bro. I didn't know if I was on time. I couldn't remember my lyrics.
Yeah.
The guys were looking at me and I was like, are they looking at me because they're just looking at me? Or are they looking at me because they know I'm high? Or I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
Can't do this at all.
It was, it's so crazy. I used to be one of those dudes that was an impeccable functional stoner. And then I went on my first U.S. tour. And I got just like, I abandoned weed because in the States at the time, this was like 2008.
Oh, okay.
I want to say 2009. It was 2009. And weed was still super illegal in most states, right? So I just didn't smoke.
You want to take a chance.
Yeah. And I wasn't going to ask anybody when I was there because there's no...
Narc!
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to jail in a foreign fucking country. Yeah. I know it's the U.S. and it's really...
What, get high? Fuck that.
Yeah, not fucking
not
worth it. Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'll just smoke when I get home.
Yeah.
And so I didn't smoke weed for like 4 months. And I got home and I'm so stoked. I'm like, oh, yes. And I had this huge green glass bong that we used to call the Green Mile.
Nice.
And,
Nice.
And because it was green glass and obviously the whole thing.
Yeah.
But it had a half-quarter bowl in it. And I packed that motherfucker to the brim.
You did too much, man. You went too far, bro.
I did. Immediately. Well, because I just dove back in where I left off.
That's like working out, man. Like taking off, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can do." Oh,
yep. Just ripped my biceps off the bone.
You did something in your head, man.
Oh yeah, and just and immediately, just all I could hear were alarm bells going, "Mistake."
That immediately reminded me of that scene in Requiem for a Dream. You know, when they get high and they're like, and there's all those cut scenes. What you just did is like
cuts. Yeah. Dude, and it was terrible. It was like a 6-hour panic attack. And ever since then...
That's terrible, eh?
Oh, brutal.
You're like, when is this going to stop?
Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm ready for this to be over. You look over, it's been 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And before, he was like, a really intense high would last like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
this shit lasted like 6 fucking
Yeah,
hours.
man.
And I looked to my buddy. I was like, bro, I got to spend the night.
You're like that too, eh?
Yeah.
Like I'll smoke too. It's like if I smoke at all during the day, I'm done for the day. I'm not driving, nothing. I don't know. Whoever I'm with will start smoking again in like a couple hours. Like, oh yeah, I'm burnt out or whatever. Like I'm still kind of there. Yeah. Like I can't.
I still have the fuzzies, man.
Yeah, man, the fuzzies. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Like I keep a tiny bit of super low dosage THC bud in the house in case I get a migraine. And it's one of the only things that takes the edge off enough where if a migraine kicks, because I've had like quite a few concussions.
Yeah.
So, which in case I haven't said that on the show before. That's part of it. I've been kicked in the head a few times, yeah. And just like other weird, reckless shit growing up, you know. You just do
you're a kid. You
yeah.
just do stupid things. Yeah,
you're a 14-year-old boy. You're a fucking
I'm going to
maniac.
jump off that.
Yeah, jumped off some shit I should not have jumped off. Got thrown off some stuff I wish I hadn't been thrown off. So, you know, migraines. And I get them so badly that when they kick in, I actually hurl from the pain.
Really?
Yeah, they're brutal. The day's fucking ruined. Pitch black room, ice pack, hopefully silence.
I've obviously never had a migraine then because I've never had it that bad.
Well, I get them pretty... Typically, a migraine is a localized, like, super intense headache. For most people, they occur in the temples. Mine is always in the right temple, and it is crippling.
Wow. Eh?
And, yeah, luckily, I've only ever had one once while on tour. And it lasted about a day and a half. And that...
Jesus.
And I don't even remember playing the show.
Really?
Yeah, don't remember it at all. I know I did because I remember getting there, but I don't remember the rest.
You just remember like, hey, great show. What?
I remember kind of coming out of it the next day.
That's crazy.
In the back of the car. Yeah. Yeah, it was brutal. And so anyway, I keep a little bit of weed in the house because it's the only thing that takes the edge off the nausea enough to take painkillers to then somewhat dull the pain enough for me to be able to fall asleep. Because my day's already fucking ruined, so I'm going to smoke this weed.
Yeah.
So, and I'm in so much pain that for whatever reason, it doesn't give me the panic attack. It's really crazy. It's awful. So, try not to get hit in the head, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. There was a time recently, I think, within the last 6 months or so, sometimes, like I used to smoke every night. Yeah. And it just kind of fizzled into, I'm just not going to. Like, it just... Yeah. Because, like I said, whenever I do, I'm I'm useless. I'm lazy. I don't do anything. So that kind of goes against what I'm trying to do, right? Like,
for sure.
Like, I need to work. I'm actually doing commissions, and I got clients' work to do. I can't...
You got deadlines.
I got to be, like... on point, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't smoked in I don't know how long, but there was probably a time, I can't remember when, within the last 6 months, where I smoked and my mind went in the wrong direction. Like it was like a bad acid trip or something, man. Like I wasn't seeing shit, but my mind started going to places, like started thinking about like all the bad shit that's going on in the world right now, and like really freaking myself out about things. Even to the point where like I start thinking about death and what happens after death, and like I remember freaking out specifically because I was thinking, I was like have you ever been in a state of pain and you're like, well, when is this going to end? Yeah. I was like, what if that's what happens when you die and you're just in constant pain, like all the time, like forever? And my mind just went way off. Like, this has got to stop. I can't do this anymore. Like, depths I don't want to go back to. And I don't think I've smoked since. And like, just nope.
Oh my God. What a horrifying
Yes, man. Like, bad things. Like, that's not... No. I just wanted to eat some cheesies and watch a movie, man. But I went there.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. No. Right? Like, that's terrifying.
Oh my God. Okay. So, that's almost like what happens to me when I take edibles.
Yes.
But what happens is I have full-blown visual and auditory hallucinations.
Really?
Yeah.
Visual?
Yeah, I have visual hallucinations where I basically get transported to a movie theater, and I'm watching every mistake I can recall that I've made through my whole life that are like, okay, here's a ridiculous one. I won't say
you're dreaming, like it's that.
Yes, it's like a vivid fucking nightmare, and I'm just white knuckling it for 6+ hours. And just as an example, like there was a school dance when I was learning. We were talking about breakdancing before.
Yeah.
So I used to be like really into fucking breakdancing. And when I was first trying to learn how to do it, there was this girl that I had a mad crush on in seventh grade. And I did a backflip at the seventh grade school dance.
Really?
Yeah. Well, back handspring. I couldn't quite do the full somersault.
That's so cool.
Did a back handspring.
Yeah.
And I fucking clipped this chick in the chops with my toe.
No way.
Yes.
Right in the face.
Yeah, just think, and oh, dude, clacked her teeth. Nothing. She didn't lose any teeth. No chips or anything. I don't think. I don't know.
But I think you're asking her out after that, man.
Oh, dude, she wouldn't look at me the rest of the night. I was just like, oh, and like no other girls would dance with me the rest of the night. They're like, no way, you're gonna kick me in the fucking face.
Could have knocked her out, man.
Oh, dude, I could have easily, and it's in the gymnasium. She would have gone down backwards on that hard terrazzo floor too.
Yeah.
Game over, dude. That kid would have been knocked the fuck out.
So you're just replaying this in your head.
Amongst other stupid things that I've done, horrible things I've said to people that didn't really deserve what I said because I was, 15 and angry.
I got those.
Just like stupid shit like that, know, or like.
You're a different person back then.
Yeah.
Like I've seen like, go through old Facebook messages or old notes you've written. Even like, why would I write that?
Yeah.
Like you're completely different person mentally, man.
Oh yeah, I'm honestly.
So you can't put too much weight on that.
No,
man,
I know, but there's a part of me that's like, there are certain pockets of life that I'm pretty ashamed of, which I try to use as a propellant to not be like that. Every once in a while, though, that mean motherfucker does sneak out, and I always feel so terrible. Like I got heated a couple weeks ago, and it's just my mouth started moving, and there's a part of my brain that's like, stop talking now.
Yeah.
And then finally I just and I was just overtired. I hadn't worked out enough, and in a couple of days just shit got away from me, and then my mouth got away from me, and I was like, what the fuck am I, as I'm doing it, I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Stop. And I was so embarrassed, and I'm still embarrassed about it. This is like,
when you open that tap too, do you find that it's easy to do? You know what I mean? Like you're trying, it's like you're trying to keep a monster at bay. You know what I mean?
So yeah, I find that if you catch me at the wrong moment, the tap is easy to turn on, and it's slow to turn off. But there usually needs to be unfortunately, a lot of unseen buildup to the valve turning.
Oh, for sure.
In the first place.
Oh, yeah.
So, like just boatloads of stress beforehand, and then somebody that doesn't know any of the pre-existing condition.
Let's call it that, yeah.
Because I'm a fucking crazy person. And then, they say one thing and you're like, raw, and just, I'm so sorry.
I just said, excuse me.
Yeah. All I said was, nice day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, what's so fucking nice about it?
Get out of my way, Nana.
Yeah.
Give me those coupons.
Oh my God. That would scare the shit out of her too, because she got Alzheimer's. Who are you? No, it was terrible. It was terrible. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh well. But yeah.
Good. See, we're good.
But yeah, man, like, yeah. Which is a big part of the reason why, as often as possible, I'm trying to practice kicking, punching, elbowing, choking, joint locking.
You need an outlet, man.
Big time.
You
big
need
time.
an outlet.
And I do find, though, when I'm both physically and mentally exhausted, that it is far less likely to occur. So.
Oh, for sure. That goes with anybody, man.
Yeah. So with all the different, like you're talking about, all the creative outlets and stuff, that is for the mental stimulation. Although I will say, martial arts is way more cerebral than I think a lot of people give it credit for. So
you need lots of discipline for that, man.
Yeah, and you got to pay attention. Like, there's a lot of moves and there's a lot of variables.
Quick thinking.
Big time.
Yeah.
A quote that I love is that it is high level problem solving with dire physical consequences. I think it's a very
that's good
adept quote about basically what being a martial artist is, and I think it's true. And there are times when the other day on Friday, this dude that I train with in jiu-jitsu, his name's Adam. Huge dude. He's so much bigger than me. Like at least 275.
How much you say you weigh?
Right now, well, here's what's crazy. So my weight fluctuates pretty insanely. Like right now, I might be, because I had lunch, I might be like 154. If I take a dump, I might be 147, 148.
It's crazy, eh?
It's so weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think you would feel that, but you don't. It's just that much weight inside you, like right there. It's crazy.
Yep.
But like I'm probably around the same. We're kind of the same body.
Similar build.
But same build. Yeah. So, but I'm a little bit less muscle right now than you.
Oh. I have to. Otherwise, the monster.
That's how it changed for me, though. Like when I worked out, like I just swapped that. I didn't really gain much more weight.
Yeah.
I just swapped it for muscle mass than flab.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. I actually gained weight when I first got back into the martial arts thing. I was like 138.
138.
So when we first met, I was like in the 130s.
Yeah, you weren't working out.
No, I wasn't.
When you joined the band.
No, I was just all in, balls deep music, doing nothing else. And like literally from the time I woke up in the morning to the time I went to bed at night, it was only music. That's all I did. And I did that for years and years and years. So, but then when I, got back into the martial arts, now I try to do about, 2 hours a day usually of some kind of fitness regimen.
Well, you got a lot more time on your hands too. This is your full-time gig, right?
Yeah. Well,
I have to balance myself between a 10-hour full-time shift.
Yes.
So I come home. Oh, we got to pick up this at the grocery store, or I got to do. I got a window of 3.5 hours. I got to do this, this, and this, and they need this for tomorrow. It's a 2:30 a.m. kind of night. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me wrong. I still have that.
Yeah.
I teach at Along McQuade, and
you still do that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm there 3 days a week. I got like 45 students, I think.
45?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So it's a lot. So I do that 3 days a week, basically full time. I'm there 7 hours a day, doing lessons.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I only have like 3 or 4 students on Thursday, so it almost doesn't count. Then I gig, and then I do podcasting stuff as well as the martial arts.
That's cool.
And the 2-year-old is pretty time consuming.
Yeah.
So there is also like, I'm usually up around, depends on the day. Like if I sleep in like 7 o'clock, but I'm usually up around like 5:36, and just to get
5:30, eh?
Yeah, 5:30 or 6 every day.
Time doesn't exist to me. Well, actually, sometimes I'll look over. Oh, fuck this.
Go to bed. Yeah.
I'm not a morning person. I tried. I can't.
Yeah.
It's not my.
So yeah, either 5:30 or 6, and then I'm going to bed around like 11:30.
Sometimes I start a movie at 11:30.
I used to. I used to be a night hawk, and then it just it had to switch with when the baby came. Because, actually, when the baby came, it just became no sleep.
Yeah.
For the first year and a half.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
And
your kid's ultra cool, by the way.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. She's a cool kid.
Yeah.
I'll have to show you later. I've got finally just because I had mentioned it almost every morning. Not every morning, but let's say like 3 to 4 days a week. She wants to put on a pretty dress and then come downstairs and hit the heavy bag, and then she wants to play
in the pretty dress.
In the pretty dress, yes, it is, yeah. And then she wants to play the drums. So I was explaining this to a friend, and she was like, "Do you have any pictures or video? I'd love to see it." I was like, I don't. Because I'm always just
in the moment, man. Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I feel like I need evidence. So I finally took some video. I'll show it to you when we're done. It's pretty rad. And I'll have to show you her little drum kits in that room over there. So that's her studio space, and this is mine. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. But yeah, and
I struggle with that, honestly. Like the whole live in the moment and the picture things. Like when my kids were younger, I could go through and see hundreds of pictures, and I guess I stopped taking as many pictures, and I'm like, I really wish I had pictures, but it's like, no, like I was
there.
Yeah, I was more present than just on my phone, like taking pictures all the time and whatnot. I'm not saying I wasn't there when they were younger, but like obviously I've spent more time, and just you miss it at the same time, right? Like it's like I wish I could see these pictures, and like I could see it in my head, but I got pictures all over the walls and stuff at home. It's like, man, I wish I had some more recent pictures. And
sure. How old are your kids now?
My son's 19.
I told Amber I bet he was 19. That's wild.
He's in university.
That's crazy, dude.
I'm not even caught up mentally. Like, what? Holy crap! What? It's crazy, yeah. My daughter's 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I was going to say it happened fast, but it didn't. It took 15 years.
It feels fast.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Which is more terrifying for me, because it's like that, like even from when I saw you last 15 years ago, or whatever it was, 14, 15, whatever.
Yeah, about that. 14 or 15 years.
How fast is the next 15 going to go? Because I don't know about you, but I feel like time is moving a lot faster.
Oh, dude.
Now, like the days, like I'm already here, man. Like,
I know.
It's 2:00.
Yeah. We started planning this like a month ago.
Yeah, man. Boom.
And
it's like a snap of the fingers, man. Like,
yeah, and we've already been doing the show for 2 hours, and it's, you blink and it's over.
It's crazy. But I remember time passing, like when I was younger, like it would take forever. Like a day felt like a week,
Dude, summer was your life.
Yeah, man.
That was running around barefoot.
I miss that shit.
Yeah.
As much as kids say they hate school, love school.
Yes.
Like, man, I know exams and tests and all that shit, but those are the best days of your life sometimes, man.
Definitely the lowest
going
pressure.
Out after school, not having to work. I got to go home and cook for the kids, and I got to go home and take care of the bills, and I got to vacuum it. No, man, there was
none of that.
Just go out with your friends after school, hang out,
party,
go to concerts.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Man. You had the time in the world for everything.
Yeah. Dude, and just like the amount and how much I don't know about you, but I still get super excited every time I learn something new. We're starting on to a new journey of something. And the amount of stuff that you are pouring into your mind at that age, and the things that are at your disposal, and how willing most humans are around you to help fill in those gaps for you, or even just introduce you to something new. I don't want to say that people don't want to introduce older people to new things. They do. It's just not as, I guess, people don't have the same fervor for it as they do exposing it to kids, being like, this is Jimi Hendrix, little one. You know what I mean?
Whereas, it's that first impression, that first time.
Yeah.
Everything is your first time back there. You know what I mean?
Magic. It's magic.
Like when like I said, when I heard Marilyn Manson for that first time, like that was the first, like I always heard music. So like I was introduced to music, but it wasn't the same experience when
you weren't listening.
Yes. It was there in the background.
Yeah.
Like my dad used to play all sorts of stuff from like Van Halen and Journey and Bon Jovi.
Yeah, sure.
And I recognized those songs, and but I didn't hear them with the same ear.
Yeah.
And like once that channel goes on and you hear it, and that, man, it's like I don't know, like tasting food for the first time, or like,
right? It's a new neural pathway, and it feels so good. It feels so
I don't mean
good.
tasting food for the first time, like tasting something new, like a new recipe.
Yeah, that's
or
what I
something.
mean too. I'm on the same page with you.
Yeah. Like you go from like making craft dinner for yourself and then going to a fancy restaurant or something. You're like,
Wow.
ooh, what are those? Those are called spices, sir. Spices.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
dude. And now, how cool is it that you own one of the prop heads from A Beautiful People music video?
Oh man, that was, when he reached out to me, and that's Stu from Playdead, who was from the shop I was telling you about. He reached out to me. He was like, "Oh, you want one of these?" I was like, "Is that for real?" Like, he's like, "Yeah. I bought them a while ago. I got a whole bunch of them. Come check them out, and you can pick whichever one you want."
Just real quick, explain to people what you're talking about, or what we're talking about.
Oh, I got a prop head from Marilyn Manson's "The Beautiful People" video. So there's a scene where I guess they're in a warehouse or something, and behind the drummer Gingerfish, there's a bunch of these like old beat up boxes behind him, stacked all offset, and there's these heads that are just like they're wrapped in
Like burlap?
gauze, burlap gauze, I guess, and they got these like weird, crazy textures and whatnot, and each one is different. And I mean, that's all it really is. It's just kind of like a aesthetic thing for the video, but like to actually have something from a band that inspired me so much all these years later, it's really fucking cool, man.
It is really fucking cool.
So yeah, so I got a display case in my bedroom, and I put it on top of the display case, so now it's just there staring at me every night, freaking me out.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's so rad.
Yeah. I was really happy to get that. I didn't know which one to pick. There was like so many. It's like I could only buy one, but I think I made a good choice.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we've I think we've done like over 2 hours, and I don't know about you, but I'm busting, dude. I got to pee so bad.
Bust out the bottle, man. We got to keep going.
Or we could wrap it for today, and we can just do another one.
Sounds good to me.
All right, cool. Brandon Ross, one more time, tell everybody where they can find your stuff. There are going to be links in the description boxes below, but say it one more time. Hearts and Scars, where can we find it?
www.heartsandscars.ca, or you could check out on Instagram, brgraphics.ca. Must put the .ca because there's apparently lots of other BR graphics.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Thanks so much for sticking around, everybody. Thanks for listening. Brandon, always a pleasure to see you, bro.
Thanks for having me, bro.
All right. We'll do it again.
For sure.
Peace, everybody. That was fun, man. Thank you.
That was cool.